Thanks for joining me again, everybody. It's Erik Jensen here with Sprucehill Homes. We are going to continue our 20th year celebration by rolling out a top 5 list for renovations. On today's video, I am going to share with you what I think are the top 5 things that most people do not think of when they're renovating. I am going to give you my list of the top 5 most underrated renovations or changes that you can make or choose to make for your home or to your home, I suppose. And then I'm going to give you my top 5 things to look out for and or avoid. And of course, because I'm me and I can't help myself, I'm gonna probably have a whole bunch of bonus points for you at the end of this video because, well, I can't help myself and I just like to share information. Why the heck not? Let's dive in. A work from home sanctuary. In this day and age, when so many people are working from home, myself included, I'll have you know, I'm here from my home office. I think a lot of people are thinking like a desk in a guest room works, or they'll set up their computer on the dining room table or anything like that. It's really problematic to not have your own kind of sort of dedicated office space. It can be done. I know it can be because I have people that work for me that do it. But having a work from home sanctuary really is a nice thing to have. And certainly, if we can create a dedicated and soundproofed accessory dwelling unit, like a outdoor office or something like that, or maybe convert a garage into some sort of, well thought out and well organized office for you. Maybe that's something to think about. But yeah, certainly a work from home sanctuary. I think it's definitely something a lot of people don't think about. The next thing on my list is an indoor outdoor flow of space and people, right? People will frequently buy barbecues and things like that. And more often than not, I see clients having to go up and down flights of stairs and go down hallways and do all sorts of crazy things to get from their kitchen sink to the barbecue and vice versa. One thing that I would encourage you to think about when you're designing your home is to create some sort of outdoor living area that is roughly at the same elevation as your main floor area, so that you don't have stairs to go up and down or whatever else. It's just nice, seamless transition from indoor living to outdoor living. And it really will make you want to use that outdoor space that much more. And I have definitely seen that in my own personal life. And I've certainly seen that with our clients as well. The next something that I would love for you to think about is a secondary entry. And what I mean by that is having a front door, like we all do, right? But then having a secondary door that you would enter your home into, and that should or would normally lead into some form of mudroom, right? A place for your dirty kids, dogs, sports gear, and have a place that actually helps your family and your home to function. There is, I think, a good functional mudroom is so valuable. And we've created a lot of these suckers over the years, and I've never ever heard somebody complain about their mudroom having too much storage or being too organized, right? Having a great mudroom is a great something to have. And certainly having a space where, close friends and family and that sort of thing, they come through and they dump their shit off in the mudroom and they just kind of keep on moving along. Like that's a nice something to have there, right? The next something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's certainly something to think about, is zoned climate control. You can get ducted systems that are zoned, and you can also, a lot of people have seen them, the ductless mini splits. Obviously they have the downside with them is you've got to maintain each mini split head unit, and then you've also got to you got to have it hanging on your wall. But certainly by having a ductless split system, you're able to control the temperature in each individual room, and they're actually relatively quiet as well. So, some sort of zoned climate control is going to be a nice something for you to have to help make your living experience that much better. Now, the last thing on this list for now of things that people do not think about: future proofing for aging or accessibility. I get that none of us want to think about getting old, but curbless showers, backing for grab bars, wider hallways, wider doorways, These are all things that we can do and we can design into the home right from day one, so that when you are going from A to B, you're not bonking into walls, right? So, like I would suggest, like at a minimum, you want your hallways to be 42 inches wide. And I might also suggest that you want to consider designing 36-inch wide interior doors, especially if you're planning to age in place. Having those wider doors are really going to make a huge difference for your ability to move in and out if you're in some sort of wheeled apparatus. And I mean, I am the first to admit, I am not looking forward to that day myself. I know it's coming and I know it'll be here eventually, but I am hoping that I can push that as long as possible. But aging in place and designing and thinking about for aging in place, a smart something to do, especially when we're building and renovating homes in our late 40s, early 50s. And this is just something that we probably want to be thinking about. I know it's a little bit, but it is what it is. Moving on to the next topic, which is the most underrated renovations or changes. I'm going to say additions, I think, are one of the renovations that people just really struggle to wrap their heads around as to how much it's going to change their lives. Whether it be a multi-story addition or a second story addition or whatever the case may be, adding space to your home is going to make your ability to live in that home and to enjoy living in that home so much better. Obviously, adding space is not free and requires quite a few more hoops to jump through when you're getting permits, but certainly having more space so you can design a nicer kitchen or have a more functional great room or family area, or have that dining room that you've always dreamed of having so that you can have Christmas dinner and have all your family around the table or whatever else, right? These are the sorts of things that I would encourage you to think about. I would say, I think people think about it and I don't think they appreciate how wonderful it is to have some sort of secondary suite or, income potential. We can convert basements or attics into legal suites for people to live in, right? You can make an attic a legal suite by putting stairs on the outside of the house up to the attic. And certainly, that doesn't mean if you create a legal suite, you actually have to rent it out. You can use it for yourself, but hey, if you lose your job or you have some sort of other financial hardship come to you, or maybe you have parents that you might need to house in their later years, having a secondary suite is really a nice something to have. And, something that I would strongly encourage you to think about. Taking your pantry and making it awesome. Not a bad idea, right? If we borrow a little bit of space from the kitchen and we borrow a little bit of space from the dining room and we put that into a pantry, we can now start to remove all of those unsightly appliances that are sitting on your kitchen counter, and we can tuck them away into a pantry. And who doesn't love to have a walk-in pantry? I mean, come on, folks. A walk-in pantry is an amazing something to have. And if you wanted to kick it up a notch, of course, you can add a fridge, a stove, a sink in there, whatever you want. You can make it an entire second kitchen. It really depends on what you're looking for. But having some sort of pantry that has storage and it just keeps all of the mess and clutter off of your main kitchen counters is a great something to have. And that's actually something that we designed into our current home. The next underrated renovation is garage overhauls. Clearing out that garage, getting it swept out, cleaned out, and organized, right? Like, we can turn a garage that's full of all of your crap, we can organize it, we can make it into an awesome at-home gym, or we can transform it into a workshop, or we could create some sort of office like I already said, or showroom. It's probably some of the most underutilized square footage in all of North America. And so certainly turning your garage or carport into more functional space is a really, really smart something to do if you're asking my humble opinion. Last but not least on this is outdoor living space. And I am telling you, we created this outdoor living space for these clients, and they almost never used the old dilapidated crappy patio sort of thing that they had back there. I mean, this is a huge amount of work to get this sucker built. Anyways, that's what it looks like if you're standing at the sliding doors there, right? But we put in 4x6 skylights. It's all beautiful fir or cedar ceilings and that sort of thing. And so we still kept all the natural light in, but created a space where they could be out there. And when you include patio heaters in here, well, at least here in Vancouver, your outdoor space goes from being someplace where you can go only when it's not raining to a place you can go 3 or more seasons of the year, because if it's raining, who cares? Got a roof. And if it's cold out, who cares? You've got heaters. So, an outdoor living space is so transformative to how clients live in their homes. We've done this for a number of different homes. And I will tell you, especially the ones where it makes the biggest impact are those homes that are on the smaller side, right? Like we're talking homes that are in the sub 3,000 square feet category. That extra space, that extra living area, that extra entertaining area, it makes a huge difference. And all of our clients that we've done this kind of work for, they've all reported back and said how amazing it has been for them and how much they've enjoyed using the new space. I would strongly encourage you, if you've been thinking about doing an outdoor living space, stop thinking about it, pull the trigger, get it done, because an outdoor living space is a fantastic place to hang out. I'll be the first to admit they're not that cheap, but my God, what a difference it made for this particular family, especially. Let's move into the things that we should be looking out for and or avoiding. And so the first thing that comes to mind as a contractor specifically, but also clients, just be aware, is the concept of helping to save money. And so I found a funny shirt that is out there that I've seen many times before that kind of sort of reflects what it's like for us as tradespeople to have clients help us. I would say this shirt does an exemplary job of kind of talking about what or how much help is. The takeaway here is that in our 20 years of experience doing this work, I think we've had 2, maybe 3 clients who offered to help and actually really did help. Let the pros do what the pros do. Sometimes helping does not help the budget in any way, shape, or form. The other thing I want you looking out for are lowball quotes. Okay. Doesn't matter if it's the contractor or if it's a trade partner, right? If the numbers you are getting are more than 10% apart, have to start asking a lot more questions about how is it possible that the numbers are that far apart. If you compare our cost to deliver what we do for our clients to most of our like quality contractors here in the Lower Mainland, at most there's a 10% delta amongst us. Same thing when it comes with trade partners. If some trade is coming in and able to give you a ridiculously good deal on an air conditioning system, well, it could be that they really suck at installing air conditioning systems. They're completely clueless, and once it's installed, it's not going to work very well. I have firsthand experience with this. If that price is more than 10% apart, I really want to encourage you to ask a lot more questions about how it's possible that those numbers are so far apart. The other thing that we're going to watch out for is permitting. Depending on the size of the project and depending on where the project is taking place, permitting can take weeks, months, and in some cases even years, which is a disgrace, I might add. An absolute disgrace. It should not take that long. And I talk about this on The Ground Truth on occasion. I could do a whole spiel just on permitting. But, just remember that if you're going to do work, you need to have that permit in hand. Just be aware that there is lead time for getting a building permit, and you need to build that into your project plan and into how long it's going to take the project to get done, obviously. The next something to avoid, trendy Pinterest finishes. As a contractor, I have seen things come and go over the last 20 years. I think it's really important for you to trust your builder and know that, especially if you're working with somebody who's reputable like Sprucehill, if they're making material recommendations or suggestions, it's probably something you really want to pay careful attention to, because they have years of experience installing and more often than not fixing things that have failed or had issues over the time. So that's part of it. The other part of it is, if you do stuff that's really trendy, it's not going to stand the test of time, right? You're going to know, Trendy, right? Pink and blue toilets or stoves. Trendy, glass blocks for exterior window light sort of things, right? Like these are things that they just came and went. You know, if we walk into a house and it's got a blue toilet, we all know that it was built in the 70s. Same thing if, you know, it has a bunch of glass blocks in it. Like we all know that that was built in the 80s. And so the same sorts of things hold true. So just, you know, my advice anyways is to really consider products that are going to stand the test of time and they're not going to age poorly. And the last thing I really want all of you contractors, everybody out there, is do not undertake or get involved in scope creep without documenting it, otherwise known as change orders. If these things aren't documented, if these things aren't signed off on, don't do it. Don't let yourself be pressured into moving forward quickly. And this goes for builders and clients alike here, guys, right? It does not matter. Do not move forward without having things documented. It is so important because there's going to be a change to obviously the cost of the project. And more often than not, that's also going to have some sort of ramification on the project timeline as well. So make sure you get both of those things documented. You get it in writing so that both parties have a very clear understanding of the ramifications of that change. So make sure you get those change orders and you get it in writing. Get everything in writing always. A little bit of stuff that, you know, people don't think of. We'll just do like quick shots here. So envelope and air sealing, right? Make sure you're getting your doors and windows sealed up so that you are not losing cooling or heating during the summer or winter months, and that your home is more energy efficient. Don't rely on Wi-Fi. Yes, it works well, but it still does not work as well or as reliably as a hardwired connection. Do not cheap out on your subfloor prep. Think about where your plumbing stacks are going to go. Think about if you're going to make a change to wall locations, are there a bunch of electrical home runs in that wall? Because if there are, that could be quite expensive for you to move, and it could even become impossible. Solid core doors, strongly suggest it. Sound mitigation, strongly suggest it. And sound mitigation, when I talk about that, resilient channel on your ceilings and even your demising walls between two suites. We put insulation between all of our bedroom and bathroom walls just to really help minimize how much sound transfer there is from room to room. But you know, that's a wrap on what I have for you for today, everybody. You know, I hope that this content is helpful and informational for you. If it is, we sure would appreciate it if you'd share this with friends and family. Certainly subscribe to the channel if you could. In the meantime, we are so happy to be celebrating 20 years this year. It is an unbelievable achievement for us, and I am so excited to have been a part of it. Anyways, 20 years of awesomeness, and I want you to stay awesome as well. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye now.